Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trevor here, coming at you from Wichita. I'm just driving around. Wanted to come talk to you guys about Metaplanet stock. Before I get into it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like AI, crypto, and robotics kind of investments. We talk about this on this channel all the time, and I try to provide value to you guys, and I try to get your guys' input below in the comments section. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so Metaplanet stock. All right. So, what's special about Metaplanet stock? Well, currently, I believe it's trading at an MNAV below 1. So their multiple to their net asset value is below 1.0. In other words, what that means is that this company is being currently valued at less than their amount that they already hold in Bitcoin. So you're actually getting a discount, literally getting a discount on Bitcoin by buying Metaplanet, right? Which is nuts, because when you buy Bitcoin, you don't have an entire management team backing you, right? You know, making decisions for the company, finding out ways to accrete Bitcoin for shareholders, anything like that. You're just buying Bitcoin. But instead, right now, you're buying Metaplanet, and you're buying it at a discount to their net asset value of Bitcoin, which is just absolutely nutty. When you think about what their net asset, what their MNAV was, like, even a month ago, 2 months ago. Like, the discount you're getting on this stock is just insane. It's like people are so scared. And what does Warren Buffett say? Buy when there's blood in the streets, my friends. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Oh, and I believe that is right now. I really do. Under $3 a share, guys. What the heck? It's like, back up the Brinks truck. Not financial advice, right? But it's like, they've already suspended dilution. They've told you, they made an announcement. We are not diluting shareholders any further. Nah, we ain't doing it, right? So if they're not doing that, and they haven't even started the perpetual preferred stock, right? They're not even using other people's money. They're using investors' money right now by diluting and using equity, right? And now they're going to be using basically money that should be going into the bond market, right? So it's fixed income, right? So they're gonna offer the perpetual preferreds in Japan, where interest rates are always super low, super high inflationary environment, and because of that, the population, the citizens of Japan, keep trillions of dollars underneath, literally in cash, underneath their mattress in their house, right? Just for like a rainy day. That's their savings account, right? The bonds are essentially non-existent there because the interest rate is so low. Obviously there are bonds, but the interest rate on the bonds is so low that people would rather just hold on to their cash than try to invest in a bond, right? This is all very important because it's like, this is one of the first fixed dividend instruments that the Japanese people have, right? And there's so much money on the sidelines. It's just crazy to think that Metaplanet's at an MNAV below 1. It's like the people now that are willing to make a calculated bet on a company like Metaplanet before their true operations have actually started, like where their massive amounts of future revenue and profit is going to come from, hasn't even started the perpetual preferreds, right? They're also entering the US market. They've already spent like $5 billion on a place in Miami to do, to continue operations here and get US capital, right? Because there's a lot of people with like US dollars that borrow in yen, and then they can buy Metaplanet and take advantage of the tax strategies. So it's just like, when you think about it, it's like, it's nuts. It's like, how does this company not deserve a little bit more respect? I mean, at this point, Metaplanet has no respect at all. They're being priced at below 1 MNAV. Like, there's just no respect. Like, they're being priced right now as if they're going to go bankrupt. But yet they've got a debt to asset ratio of 1%. They essentially have almost no debt on the balance sheet. But yet they have like over $3 billion of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And they've given us exactly what their outline is to accumulate more Bitcoin and get to over 200,000 Bitcoin within, like, it's October now, within like a year and a half, by 2027, right? So it's like, what is going on? Like, because Bitcoin hasn't done much in this span of time. Like, Bitcoin just keeps going between 125 and 110K. right? So like, it's not like Bitcoin's crashing. I don't think Bitcoin's crashing anytime soon. If it does crash, I mean, what's the floor of Bitcoin in a short-term crash? What, 80K, 90K? What did we see after Liberation Day? We saw like, I want to say like the low was like 74K, 76K, something like that. And then look what happened. It shot up over 100K to 110, 125, and now it's just kind of like floating between 125 and 110. So it's like, if that's the case, but like Metaplanet has went from, you know, $2 a year ago to $16, but now it's back down to $3. And it's like, yeah, there's been some dilution happening, right? So if you exclude the dilution, yeah, maybe Metaplanet would be $6 or $7 a share or something, but it's still like from 16 to 7. That's a half. You can basically say it's down 50%, right? Is Bitcoin down 50%? Did Bitcoin go from 125K to 60K? No, it's 110K, right? So think about this. It's a little thought experiment, right? So right now, Metaplanet is being priced at an MNAV below 1, okay? So that means that they're being priced less than their current valuation just in Bitcoin, okay? So that's important. So what happens if within the next year, Bitcoin goes to $200,000, right? So Bitcoin almost doubles because it's at 110 today. It goes to 200, right? So just for the MNAV to stay at 1 for Metaplanet, you would see a Metaplanet price of around like $6, $6.50, right? But we all know that's not what happens, right? The MNAV does not just stay at 1. So look at like altcoins or Ethereum, right? When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum usually goes up after it does, but it goes up more, you know? Same thing with altcoins. It depends on which altcoins they are, but the ones that do really well will absolutely demolish the returns of Bitcoin, right? And it's the same way with these Bitcoin treasury companies. Like in the past 5 years, MicroStrategy has, if you bought Bitcoin in August of 2020, or if you bought MicroStrategy in August of 2020, all MicroStrategy has done is acquire Bitcoin in a way that is accretive to shareholders. And yet they have doubled the ROI of Bitcoin in the same time. So what happens to Metaplanet is what I'm saying. At that point, does the MNAV go to 1.5 again? If it goes to 1.5 again, then you're at a $10 per share, right? And that's assuming that they don't accumulate any Bitcoin in the near-term future, right? That's assuming they have the exact same amount of Bitcoin they have right now. The perpetual preferred shares don't work out. Nothing works out. They just stay exactly where they're at. And their MNAV gets to 1.3, 1.5, whatever. You've got a triple in the stock price, right? And like I said, this is all, like, I still firmly believe that's the entire advantage that Metaplanet has, is that they're a Japanese company, right? And they own Bitcoin.jp. So they literally own the URL that has to do with Bitcoin in Japan, right? They own the Bitcoin magazine Japan. They own the Bitcoin hotel in Tokyo, right? So like they are all in on Bitcoin in Japan specifically. And because of that, and also because of Japan's financial structure, where they incentivize innovation and they keep interest rates super low to be able to incentivize that innovation, it's like, that's why people keep all the money under the mattress, right? So it's a very good incentive for Metaplanet to offer these fixed income preferred shares, right? Because if they do that, then these people in Japan can find a better yield. Like Michael Saylor and like Simon Garovich have said a million times, right? There is 300 and I want to say 30 there's about, so let's just put it this way. There's about $1 quadrillion worth of stuff in the world right now, right? 370 trillion of that is in real estate, but 330 trillion is in bonds. And I want to say in stocks, there's like 130 trillion, which is pretty crazy because Nvidia by itself is worth like 4 trillion. So like Nvidia is worth like 3% of the entire stock market by itself, which is crazy, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, the bond market right now is 330 trills. 330 trillion with a T, right? The market cap on Metaplanet is 3 billion. 4 billion, something like that. The market cap on MicroStrategy is 80 billion. So these aren't even anywhere close to 1 trillion. But yet the bond market is legitimately worth 330 trillion freaking dollars. So even if you get 1% of that, that is 3.3 trillion. 1%. That's why I keep arguing that these Bitcoin treasury companies are changing the world as we freaking know it, and they are going to become larger than most people realize. Like, they are going to become monsters of companies as long as Bitcoin does well, and Bitcoin doesn't falter, and Bitcoin, exists, right? And people still find value in a Bitcoin. Then these Bitcoin treasury companies are going to do well over time, right? Historically, if you look at Bitcoin, it like gets to new all-time highs, whatever, as the cycle goes. But it's like, historically, you could have bought Bitcoin. Okay, so the Bitcoin's all-time high was like 126 like a few days ago, right? So historically, you could have bought Bitcoin anytime before then and made money. Anytime. Didn't matter when. You bought it, you held it, you made a lot of money, right? So if history repeats itself, where Bitcoin is basically treated as the global reserve currency, we see what's happened to gold this year, where it's up like 60%, which is just nuts, right? Like, if, number one, Bitcoin is probably going to get to a point where it's valued at the same market cap as gold, which is in like the 20s trillions, right? And that's only at like, Bitcoin's only going to be $1 million, $1.5 million at that point, right? So like, that's why a lot of people think that Bitcoin is just going to be like by 2040. I saw something from like JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley saying that they think that Bitcoin could literally be $1 billion per coin by 2040. Could you just imagine how much you would have in MicroStrategy or Metaplanet if you had, if Bitcoin went to $1 billion a coin? I mean, you would be sipping Mai Tais on the beach in Cancun every single day, or you'd be out in Dubai. You'd be out not living the life you're living right now. That's for sure, right? So that's my point, is it's like, if you are interested in risk-on assets, if you're interested in taking a small allocation or large allocation, it's all up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I'm personally doing with my portfolio is I'm putting a small percentage into MicroStrategy and Metaplanet. I have options, just in full disclosure, I have option calls on MicroStrategy right now that expire at the end of 2027, right? That's a long-term hold for me. If something happens and Bitcoin spikes up really fast and MicroStrategy spikes up really fast, maybe I'll sell them, right? And try to trade it a little bit. But for the most part, right now, I'm cool with holding an options contract on MicroStrategy. And then I have a few thousand shares of Metaplanet as well, right? Because, yeah, would I like to make the allocations larger? Yes, but at the same time, there's risk tolerance involved. And I have a higher conviction in Tesla than I do in Bitcoin. That's just simply me. There's a lot of people that have higher conviction in Bitcoin than Tesla, and I get that. Like, I totally get it. Like, look what happened to gold, right? And Bitcoin is similar to digital gold. It's easier to spend, but it's easier to transport. It's better than gold in 1,000 ways, and we've all heard it from the Anthony Pomplianos of the world about how much better Bitcoin is than gold, right? We all get that. The problem is gold is physical and can't really be replicated. Maybe you can replicate in a lab. I don't know. You can mine like a meteor or something with it. Sure, okay. But the biggest thing is like Bitcoin. What the skeptics will say is, hey, well, quantum computing kind of like basically, will destroy Bitcoin's value. Similar to like some way of getting like infinite energy because Bitcoin has the proof of work system. It's like, who knows? That's why I'm very, very, very bullish and very convicted on Tesla, because I think they're going to solve self-driving. I think they're going to have this Optimus humanoid robot. I think they're going to have little mini Optimus humanoid robots that can ride with you in the car. I think they're going to have all sorts of products, AI and robotic related. But I also think that Bitcoin has its place, right? And as long as Bitcoin does not get demolished by, more technology, essentially, then I think Bitcoin is going to be worth millions of dollars per coin, right? And so that's why I think that's why I think it's so important to have a little bit of your portfolio allocated to it. And there's a lot of people I know that have a lot more than just a little bit, right? I know quite a few people that have like their entire account in Bitcoin or MicroStrategy or something. And it's like, my risk tolerance, I can't do that. But I do definitely, I feel like it's risky to not own crypto or like one of these Bitcoin treasury companies. If you're convicted enough in Bitcoin, I think it's easy to be convicted enough in these treasury companies, because the historical ROI, you can just look at Metaplanet or MicroStrategy, look at the past year, 2, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and you can see how much these long-term investors have made by holding these stocks. And it's no joke. It's like just absolutely destroying the market, like just destroying it. So yeah, guys, if you made it this far into the video, what are you doing? You got to subscribe, right? Subscribe to the channel. Let me know how many shares of Metaplanet you have below down in the comments section. Like the video. And guys, just have a great day. Thanks for watching.